Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of, for mid-May. I've done that every single time today. This is for mid-May. 2023. We are just going to jump right in here. In your current general energies, you have this card that says work through your fears, and then you do have the Tower as well, so we're definitely going to look into that. It is showing up in your first position, which is basically the past position, so it wouldn't surprise me if you've already had a Tower moment or have experienced like some sort of loss or separation, whatever a Tower moment is for you. It's different for all of you, right? Could have been a lying, cheating, stealing situation as well with the Seven of Swords, so definitely something to think about. It is interesting that you have this Gemini card that says speak your truth on it, so definitely something to think about. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you were dealing with like a liar, cheater, stealer. Obviously, you have this false person card, and you have the devil. Like, I would be very careful here, Gemini. I'm not going to like sugarcoat this reading. If you have a past person who's like trying to return and they were a liar, cheater, stealer, I would be very, very careful with this situation, because I feel like, once a liar, cheater, always a cheater, right? Always a liar, cheater. Plain and simple. So I would be very careful. It looks to me like you're walking away from this situation, or that, yeah, look, are you kidding? You have the Eight of Cups, so there you go. That's a good decision for you here, Gemini. But you have this work through your fears card, and, I kind of feel with the Tower as well, that the Tower can represent a shock to the system. It can represent, a jolt, and you see that lightning bolt at the top of the Tower. The story of the Tower is that these people inside the Tower have been ignoring reality for too long. They haven't been, seeing things for how they actually were. And I'm wondering if that happened to you, Gemini, where maybe you were just ignoring the reality of a situation. I kind of feel like this could happen to a lot of people because Neptune and Pisces. We have Neptune and Pisces until 2026, basically the end of 2025. And, it's an illusion. It's a fantasy. It's not real. So, I think a lot of people could be kind of going through these moments where they have they're brought back down to reality, but it could have been in a harsh way. I definitely feel this is something that's happened. It could be a person who cheated or lied or whatever. And maybe you were kind of living in the clouds the entire time. But now I feel like you're being brought back down to reality. The funny thing is, I feel like the shoe's on the other foot now. It's like if this person's coming back, I feel it's because their life is, sucking right now. So they could be coming back trying to, get you back because their life sucks and they're hoping for improvements or, something like that. So, I would definitely say don't let this person back if it's a person, plain and simple. Their life sucks anyway. You have the Hermit here. This situation could have put you in hermit mode, if it was like a relationship. I do kind of get that like Batman type of feeling here where it's like, you went into a dark cave and you like started working out and you like really built yourself up here and you're kind of like maybe about to have some sort of glow up. That's like really the feeling I get. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't know. I love Batman when I was a kid, right? Still do. But what I would say here is that, I feel like some of you, it's like you are like working on your glow up behind the scenes. I don't think it's like out there yet. It's still like something you're working on. It's like still something that you're, maybe you're like working on yourself. Maybe you're working on a business, or, maybe you're working on something that you're going to present to the world. And that's like the feeling I get here, Gemini. You have the Four of Cups. Whatever this was definitely disappointing. Definitely didn't turn out to what you want, and I do feel it was a shock to the system. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like maybe you thought you were going to marry this person and you didn't. I feel like something unsettling happened here, is what I would say. Like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like it already happened, but it's like, I think sometimes like you can trust a person for a very long time, and then when they do you dirty, it's like unsettling because you trusted them, and maybe there are things you didn't see. So it can make you a little bit nervous about like future people, or future situations, whatever this is, take it how it resonates. And you have that card there that says work through your fears. So what I would ask you is like, what didn't you see? What situations did you not trust? It's like, I always say that, every single relationship I've been in, every single person has told me exactly what's going to happen. And I always tell people that does not prevent me from getting into relationships, right? It's like, yes, it's like sometimes like I know that maybe things aren't going to go how I think they're going to go, but it's like every single person has basically told me exactly what's going to happen with their actions. Most of the time I just chose not to listen, right? So I think we need to like really listen to what people are saying. They might not say directly, oh, I'm going to cheat on you, right? But their actions might kind of show that they are a cheater. So I think if we pay attention, we will see like, what could happen in a situation, right? Without wasting time. With the Tower here, you have the Eight of Cups. We already know this. You're walking away from the situation. So, I don't know, duh is what I'll say there, right? With the Hermit, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles says it's time for you to move forward, especially with the Hermit. The Hermit, he might be frozen at the top of that mountain, and I always say he could put his lantern down by his feet and he could set himself free. So sometimes the Hermit needs to get moving as well. It's like he's been through the dark night of the soul, which clearly you have, and now it's time to step into the light. Again, I feel like it's time to shine your light here. With the Four of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles. You've been working on yourself. Are you kidding? Like everything we said. So I feel like you've been working on yourself if it wants to focus. I also feel you could be just like focusing on your finances in general. And not only that, you have 888 right here. So you have 4 eights, but you have 3 right here. So 888 could be an important number. I love 8s. To me, they're numbers of abundance, of course. So, and especially 888 is a big number of abundance. So I feel there could be like a lot of success or, kind of like growth coming in here with this reading. So I like to see that, but it looks like personal growth for the most part. Next, you have this Gemini card. It says, speak your truth, choose your words wisely. Remember that your words have consequences. You have this Scarab card as well. It says, what appears unusable may still have a great value if you look deeper. So I feel for some of you, it's like you are number one, needing to speak your truth, but I feel more importantly, you need to live your truth, right? And I also feel that if you look at something like a past relationship like this, or whatever it was that, whatever shock to the system you've experienced, I feel if you look deeper at the situation, there might be something in there that you can learn, or that, it taught you. Maybe it taught you, like, the things people say when they're going to cheat on you. Now you can avoid it in the future. Maybe, even if a person did really do you dirty, maybe there were some good parts about it that could help you. If this was a business, same thing. I also feel like this taught you how to become tactical. You have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. You have 2 sevens, which is internal fears that don't exist, but the Seven of Swords, he is stealing those swords from an army that's in the background of the card. The Seven of Swords kind of represents being tactical. He's not going to war with that army. He is stealing their swords so they can't be used against him in battle. So basically it's a card of like needing to be tactical in the way that you approach something. It can also represent needing to have more fun in your life. He has those polka dots on his cloak, and polka dots in the tarot kind of represent like needing to have more fun or enjoyment in your life. And I definitely feel that here, Gemini. But more importantly, again, I feel what you have learned is how to be tactical, or like how to get the things you want without like going directly to them. I also feel that in relationships, by the way, that you will be more, I think you're going to be more straightforward. It's like maybe you're seeing all the things that where you let a person walk all over you or not give to you or whatever. And I feel like you're going to be cutting these things off sooner if they happen. You have the Eight of Wands here. So again, I would definitely be careful. I feel like this person does not have a good life right now going this way. From the Four of Cups to the Eight of Wands to the Devil. I really get the feeling that this person is a person who just never heals. They go from relationship to relationship to relationship. So they are confused, and I feel like they are never going to be clear in life. And so, I would definitely avoid that. It's like maybe this person has even said to you, I'm confused. I don't know what I want. And the reason is because they never heal. They never take the time to be alone. They don't even know who they are. So I feel like, some of you could be dealing with a person who not only is an energy vampire, which, the Devil has these bat wings, and it kind of represents the fact that he is an energy vampire. And so you could be dealing with a person like that, or have dealt with a person like that. But I also feel like this person is a chameleon. They're a false person. The funny thing is that I don't even think this person looks at themselves as a liar. It's like they are, but I think they are so lost in like who they are that they don't even know who they are. So you could have been dealing with a person like that. You have the Seven of Wands here. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It's also a card of defending yourself, drawing a line in the sand. So I feel a lot of you are drawing a line in the sand. I feel that this is true for everyone right now, especially going this way, that if we want to change our fortunes, we have to kind of draw this line in the sand where we say, I'm not willing to accept less than this. And I'm not even talking about just love here. I'm talking about everything. Love, business, spiritually, health-wise. It's like when we demand from the universe the things that we want, then we get them. But, I think sometimes people think like, oh, demand from the universe means, oh, I have to tell the universe, oh, this is what I demand. That's part of it. I feel like you should do that. But also, like when we don't go back to bozos, when we say, no, I'm not going to go back to this person, I'll be alone over my dead body will I go back to this person. When we do that, then the universe knows we're serious. Same thing in like business. If we're not making enough money or whatever, if we're in a job where we're not getting a raise and we start looking for another one, the universe is like, oh, they're serious. They want more money, so I'm going to bring it to them, right? Same thing in business as well. It's like, what do most people do? Most people in business, when they want to make more money, they lower their prices. Bad idea, right? It's like you're basically telling the universe, I'm worth less, right? So if you want more money in your business, raise your prices. I know it sounds crazy, but I can give you 6 billion examples of like times where raising your prices would work. You know, it's like, I think there's a book, Made to Stick, and in that book, there was a lady, there's a story, I think it was Made to Stick, or it might have been Contagious. I can't remember which book it is, but in one of those books, right, a lady, she couldn't sell this jewelry that was in her store. So she told someone in the store, she was like, lower the price to this. But the person heard something different and they raised the price, like they 10x the price on this jewelry, and it flew out the door like that day, right? Why? Because it had a higher perceived value. So again, I feel like this is saying, like, you know, in business, don't lower your prices, raise your prices. If you're going on a job interview, don't ask for less money, ask for more money, right? It'll make you more valuable. With the Seven of Swords, you have the King of Cups here. I do feel that if you want love, there could be a new person coming in for you. It could be a Capricorn or an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or a Leo with the Wheel of Fortune right here. Take it how it resonates. Could be any sign. But what I would say here is, like, again, pay attention to the evidence. I think that with Neptune and Pisces, I've basically been saying this to everyone because it's super important, right? It's like I've gotten caught up in situations where I don't pay attention, right? And I know this, right? So I catch myself doing this all the time, not just with people, but, you know, with different situations in my life. I get caught up in these situations where I'm not paying attention to the evidence and I make a mistake. So, you know, it's like I'm far from perfect, clearly. Like, I fell on my head when I was 10 years old, right? And, you know, after that, things got wonky. But what I would say here is, again, I feel like there could be a good person coming in for you, but maybe you're like, oh, this person's a cheater, but they're actually not. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands here. Again, I would be very careful of this inconsistent person from the past trying to communicate with you if it is a person. What I would say that this is good for, these 3 cards right here, well, actually, even the Eight of Cups as well, these are really good cards for going on an adventure, basically trying something new in life or moving in new directions, you know, doing things differently. The Knight of Wands is a card of desire. I think we live in a time where we need to move towards our joy and towards our desires and towards things that make us happy and bring us more fulfillment as well. And, you know, perfect example is this channel. It's like, you know, there are plenty of teachers out there, business people, who say like, oh, don't start a passion-based business. This is totally a passion-based business for me. It's not my only business, and it's not even the one that makes me the most money. But, you know, what I would say is I get a lot of joy and fulfillment out of doing this. I don't need to do this, right? And the reason I do it is because I want to, because it brings me fulfillment. And, you know, plus I love tarot, just the imagery and learning about tarot and everything like that. So I would say that we are entering into a time of passion is where I'm going with this. Everybody gets like the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the Sun. These are all cards of moving towards your joy, your passion, towards things that make you money, or, you know, things that bring you fulfillment. And if you want to turn something into a passion-based business, I truly believe now is the time. Like, now is the time where if you want to talk about worms all day, as I always say, there has never been a time where you probably could make a lot of money talking about freaking worms, right? I kid you not. So now is the time, but you have to get started. You have to start a YouTube channel or a blog or something like that to get it going, obviously, or do something. But now is the time to do it. And again, it's like free. It's basically free to have a YouTube channel for the most part. So, you know, now's the time. Is what I'll say there. Move towards your desires. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is like going on an adventure. Page of Wands is very enthusiastic. He follows his enthusiasm as well. Like, literally, something makes him interested, enthusiastic, and happy, and that's the direction he moves in. So that's what I would be doing there. Plain and simple, right? Next, you have this Poverty card and this False Person. Again, I do get this feeling that a past person could be like kind of in dire straits is what I'm getting here. They could be in a bad position and they could be coming in to get your help. But it's like, you know, it's like one of those things. Like, I feel like you offered this person a lot of help, and I also feel if you were to help them again, that they would never learn. You know, it's like one of those things where It's like, trust me, I'm very compassionate, but at the same time, it's like I see how there are situations where it's like if you help someone too much, they never learn how to help themselves. So it's not spiritual. It's like there's a difference between helping someone and enabling someone, right? And I kind of feel like helping this person again would just be enabling them. It would just be continuing the cycle, right? Especially with the Wheel of Fortune. So I would be very careful of like letting this person pull on your heartstrings or whatever. It's like maybe, the only way for them to get out of this situation that they're in is for you to say no and for them to figure it out on their own, right? So I kind of feel like there's a big difference between helping and enabling. And I would just be careful of that with this energy. You have the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Temperance card. The Temperance card is, of course, a card of kind of like alchemy, turning a negative into a positive. Or you can also turn a positive into a negative as well with the Temperance card, so I'd be careful of that. But I feel like you're turning your situation around. I feel like you're also realizing that the only person's life you can control is your own with the Wheel of Fortune. So, I think the best thing we can do during Pluto and Aquarius is to be an example for other people. So, I think and it's funny that you have the star right here at the bottom of this deck, which the clarification deck, and the star, of course, is Aquarius. But, I think we are in a time where we don't necessarily need to help people directly. I think just, putting out information, like if you have information that could help people, putting it on YouTube, sharing your story in like a book or on a blog or something like that. It's like these are the things that are going to be not only helping us, but are going to help other people is by putting the information out there and being a living example. So it's like the most spiritual thing you can do right now is like basically do something hard or, accomplish something and show other people how you did it. And it's like the people who, are go-getters who, put the work in, they're going to find your information and they're going to be successful. And you're creating more positivity in the world. So that's what I would do here. The Wheel of Fortune can also represent kind of like taking control of your destiny, which I kind of feel like you're doing by going like this right here. Here and here, you have the Five of Swords. I do feel like you could be cutting toxic things out of your life, walking away here. And, it's just going to help you it's just going to help you big time, right? That's all I feel. You have this Devil. I've said so much about this Devil already in this reading. So, I feel like you get the drift. This could be a toxic false person. I would definitely be careful. I would pay attention to things people say to you as well. So, it's like, I'd pay attention if they I don't have any really good examples. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I think people say things to us, and it's basically like you could be saying to yourself, this person's going to cheat on me. Those hunches that you get, I feel like you need to trust like those hunches based off of the things that they say or the things that they do, right? With the Devil, you have the Temperance card. Yes, I think it's important that you realize that you can't change this person. It's like they have to change themselves. So if this is a person, I feel like you need to realize that. For others, I feel like you are changing yourself and you're choosing to set yourself free from, toxic things. With the Wheel of Fortune, yes, you have the Seven of Cups. You're spoiled for choice. It's like you have a lot more options than you realize. And so I feel like you need to kind of like exercise your options by starting to like work towards things that bring more abundance into your life. And that's what I would be doing here. With the Temperance card, you have the Three of Wands. Yes, card of expansion, card of expanding into the universe. Also a card that says, like, what are you waiting for? I feel like there's something you want to create or do in your life. And I feel like you need to start, like, stop waiting and start doing, basically, is what that's saying. Next, you have this card that says Creation on it. And this is from the Threads of Fate Empyrean Oracle. It's an awesome deck. It's, like, animated like this. And full disclosure, I have a business relationship with Threads of Fate, but they're launching 3 new decks, and that is linked up down below. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But again, I feel like you are creating new beginnings, and part of this creation is learning to walk away from things that no longer serve you. You have the Five of Swords, Eight of Cups, and the King of Swords. Again, I feel like most of your lessons have been about how much time you give to things that don't give time to you, popping into my head very clearly. Again, this could be a person that just never where it just never really got anywhere. So I feel like you have learned to pay, and this doesn't even have to be love. It could be anything. It's like, sometimes like we have a boss. Like I've heard from a million different people, like they'll have a job and their boss is like, I'll give you a raise in 6 months. 6 months comes around and the boss is like, okay, wait, 6 more months, right? And they keep moving it forward. They keep moving the goalpost, right? So I feel like here with the Seven of Wands in your reading right here, is drawing a line in the sand is saying the goalpost is 6 months. If I don't get a raise in 6 months, I'm looking for something else. I am demanding my worth. Same thing in a relationship as well. It's like maybe you're with a person long distance. Maybe they're like, oh, we'll meet at some point, right? I feel like you need to say, no, we'll meet by this date. We're going to make something happen, or I'm moving on, right? So I feel like it needs to be, much more clear to the universe that you are serious. You have the King of Swords here. So again, I feel like you've gained a lot of wisdom and knowledge. It's like you've learned a lot from the situations that you've been in, and I feel like you value that knowledge. Those are literally the words I'm getting, which is good. It's like you're not beating yourself up for maybe wasting your time or taking too much time to do something, and I feel like you've learned from it, so that's like good. You have the Five of Swords. Really, it's a weird feeling. I feel like you're surprising a person here, and I didn't switch. There we go. It's like if you're dealing with a person, for example, I feel like they're very surprised that they can't just march back into your life, basically. I feel like you're totally cutting them off and walking away, and I feel like this is actually going to lead to a victory. I actually don't feel bad about this. I feel pretty good about this. So I feel like you're creating a lot of abundance, happiness, success with this energy because you're kind of, again, drawing a line in the sand. I think that's, if there's like one thing that you can take away from this reading, it's like I would set your own goalposts. It's like, in whatever area of your life you're trying to improve and say, like, I need this by this time or else. It's like there's a difference between also like forcing something to happen, being like, oh, this person has to marry me next month that I just met last week, right? That's ridiculous, right? I think, but, again, the reason I'm saying this to you is because intuitively I feel that you are being more realistic. It's like, I think you're giving enough time, but you're also trusting the evidence. If someone says, okay, like, I don't want to get married right now, but it's definitely something I'll consider, it's like, are they taking the steps to get in that direction? Do you move in together, right? That's usually the first step or a big step, right? Or are they doing other things to be serious? Are they done talking to all the other people that they talk to, right? And they're only talking to you. Are they being serious? If the answer is yes, great. But I think the lessons you've learned over the past several years, Gemini, have been basically things that weren't serious about you. Jobs, businesses, love, otherwise, who cares? With the Five of Swords, you have the Page of Swords. Yes, this person will never move on. I don't know. I get a very weird feeling here that a person is never going to move on from you. But again, I kind of feel like they screwed up, Gemini. So who cares? With the Eight of Cups, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Everything we've been talking about in this reading, very straightforward reading. I feel like you've learned like what is worth it, what situations are worth your time, what situations aren't, all areas of life. I'm not even just talking about love here. I'm talking about everything. And, a job can be toxic, the devil, right? A job can steal the life from us. A business, a health routine can be bad for us as well. Pretty much everything, right? And, pretty much anything can be. So I feel like you're paying very close attention to what's working, and that's going to work. With the King of Swords, yes, you have the Chariot. Are you kidding? Definitely a victory coming in for you. I feel like you're creating your own victories because, again, you're like paying attention to the things that work, the things that don't work, and you're only investing in things that do work. And again, I feel the best way I can describe it is milestones or goals or, goalposts. It's like I feel like you are setting realistic, goals or standards. Maybe it's standards is a better word. And because of that, I feel like you're like demanding what you want. The universe is providing. We're going to pull 5 main themes now. You have this risk card. I do feel like there is a risk coming in for you here, and it could be a new person. So I feel the risk is like, do I invest in a new person? But again, I would just pay attention to cause and effect. If the person says things, do they do those things? Do they actually match up their words with actions? And if the answer is yes, then keep going. You have this practicality card. You are very practical reading. It's like you're very this or that, in a good way is what I'm saying. I don't always think that's a good thing, but I do think it's a good thing in this reading. I feel like you're in this stage of life where you're just very matter of fact, very practical, and you're just looking at things practically. I don't even think you're angry. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes people, I think they learn these lessons in life, and then, a person cheats on them and they get angry again. It's like, I'm not saying you're even to be with a cheater, but I think you can sniff it out now. And so if you get with a person, you're just saying, no, I'm moving on, but you're not angry about it. I think you're just like noticing it and you're kicking it to the curb, right? Whatever it is. So very practical for sure. You have this discovery card here. Definitely a time for you to discover new opportunities. I'm telling you right now, if you're thinking about traveling, moving, any of those things, there's going to be a lot of benefits for you in like traveling, moving, exploring. I think we are in a time of exploration. I think, I pretty much encourage everyone to explore. This could be literally, could be you traveling or moving, but it could also be more like mentally. You could be exploring new ideas. You could be learning about new things. That's the most successful thing we can do right now. You have this manipulation card. This isn't like manipulation as in like lying, cheating, stealing. This is more about manipulating the energy. This is actually a good card. It is a card of manifestation. So I feel like you could be manifesting very quickly in your life at this time. And finally here, Gemini, you have this endurance card. I feel like you're being rewarded for sticking up for yourself as well. Like if you walked away from a person is what I'm getting. But this is a really good reading, Gemini. I love where this is going. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.